1977 wasn't just another year in music. It was a wild mix of disco peaks, soft pop anthems, and guitar-driven bangers that burned bright and then vanished. Some of these songs hit number one, others dominated radio for months, but all of them share one thing: the artists never reached those heights again. From love ballads that defined the summer to strange novelty hits that somehow took over the charts, these tracks capture the unique energy of the late 70s. And whether you remember them from vinyl, radio, or retro playlists, each has a story worth telling. So let's count down 10 unforgettable one-hit wonders from 1977, starting with a song that snuck its way to the top of the Billboard Hot 100 and stayed there even though most people couldn't name the artist today. Number 10. Alan O'Day, Undercover Angel.
Midnight Tennessee. I never had a dream that made sweet love to me.
When you think of the late 1970s, few songs capture that smooth, radio-friendly pop sound like Alan O'Day's Undercover Angel. Released in 1977, this track wasn't just a hit. It went all the way to number one on the Billboard Hot 100. It's soft pop, with a dreamy, romantic twist. The kind of tune you'd imagine playing late at night on AM radio as headlights streak past on the highway. Alan O'Day wasn't some industry plant or overnight success. Before Undercover Angel, he spent years working behind the scenes as a songwriter, penning hits for other artists including Helen Reddy's Angie Baby. But when he stepped into the spotlight with his own song, no one expected it to dominate the charts the way it did. The single sold millions, becoming one of the defining pop songs of that summer. The lyrics tell a whimsical story about a mysterious woman who visits the narrator in the night, half romantic fantasy, half cheeky storytelling. O'Day's gentle vocals and the light, bouncy production make it easy to hear why listeners were hooked. It had that perfect blend of innocence and flirtation that radio stations couldn't get enough of. Undercover Angel climbed the charts quickly, eventually knocking off some major disco contenders from the number one spot. For a brief moment, Alan O'Day was at the center of the musical world, performing on television shows and riding the wave of sudden fame. But as fast as it rose, the success didn't last. O'Day released follow-up singles and albums, but none came close to replicating the magic of Undercover Angel. By the end of the decade, he had returned mostly to songwriting, watching his brief pop star moment fade into musical history. Still, Undercover Angel remains a quintessential one-hit wonder. It's a song that instantly transports you back to 1977, a time when catchy storytelling and smooth melodies could make anyone a star, even if only for a season. Number 9. Hot Angel in Your Arms.
So don't be surprised to find that the angel in your arms this morning.
In 1977, the all-female trio Hot broke onto the scene with a slow-burning soul ballad that no one saw coming. Angel in Your Arms became their breakout single, blending smooth harmonies, a classic R&B groove, and lyrics that were far more provocative than most radio listeners expected at the time. It climbed to number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100, turning this little-known group into a household name, at least for a moment. The song tells a story of romantic betrayal, flipping the usual script. Instead of a man cheating on a woman, the woman calmly explains that while he had an angel in his arms at night, she had an angel in hers during the day. That reversal gave the song a fresh, empowering twist that caught audiences off guard and made it unforgettable. For many listeners, it felt like a soulful mic drop moment. Hot wasn't a long-established act when the single came out. The group was assembled by producers in Los Angeles, mixing talent from different backgrounds to create a sound that fit right between pop and soul. They didn't have the promotional power of some bigger acts, but Angel in Your Arms spread organically through radio play, especially in the American South and on urban contemporary stations. The arrangement of the song is simple but effective. A laid-back rhythm section drives the track forward, while the trio's vocals build layer by layer, drawing you deeper into the emotional core of the story. It's seductive, smart, and just the right amount of dramatic. It felt like the perfect slow jam for late-night radio in the 70s. Unfortunately, like many one-hit wonders, Hot couldn't replicate their success. Their follow-up singles failed to gain traction, and by the end of the decade, the trio had faded from the spotlight. But Angel in Your Arms stuck around, even getting covered in later years by artists like Barbara Mandrell, proving just how enduring the song's hook and concept were. Today, the track stands as one of those unmistakable snapshots of 1977. It captures a cultural moment where soul, pop, and storytelling met in a way that felt fresh and a little daring. Hot may not have lasted, but their one hit made sure they were part of the decade's musical story. Number 8. Ram Jam Black Betty.
Black Betty, bam lamb, whoa, Black Betty, bam lamb, Black Betty had a child, bam lamb.
When Ram Jam released Black Betty in 1977, they had no idea they were about to light a firestorm. This hard-hitting, guitar-driven anthem took a centuries-old folk song and transformed it into one of the most explosive rock tracks of the decade. With its pounding rhythm, snarling vocals, and unforgettable riff, Black Betty became a surprise smash, reaching the top 20 on the Billboard Hot 100 and earning a permanent place on classic rock radio. The song's roots go way back. Black Betty was originally a work song sung by African-American laborers in the 19th century. Versions were later recorded by artists like Leadbelly. But Ram Jam's version was something entirely different. They cranked up the distortion, doubled down on the groove, and turned a traditional tune into a head-banging rock staple. The moment that opening guitar hits, it's impossible not to nod your head. The band itself was a short-lived project built around guitarist Bill Bartlett, who had previously played in the Lemon Pipers. Ram Jam didn't have a huge catalog, but they had attitude. Their debut album dropped the same year, and Black Betty became its runaway hit, blasting out of car radios across America and beyond. It was raw, loud, and undeniably catchy. Of course, the song didn't come without controversy. Some civil rights groups at the time criticized the lyrics, claiming they were racially insensitive. Radio stations in several states even banned the track temporarily. But the public demand was too strong. The bands only fueled its popularity, turning Black Betty into one of those records that teenagers sought out specifically because adults didn't approve. Musically, the song is deceptively simple. It's built around that relentless looping riff, with drums and vocals locked in like a freight train. There are no big solos or overcomplicated arrangements. It's just pure energy from start to finish, and that's exactly why it works. Ram Jam's version captured the raw spirit of rock and roll in a way that felt both timeless and rebellious. Though Ram Jam never scored another major hit, Black Betty became immortal. It's been used in countless films, commercials, and sports arenas. The band may have faded quickly, but their one-hit wonder burned bright enough to keep their name alive decades later. Number 7, Andrew Gold, Lonely Boy.
We'll teach him what we learned, oh yes, just what we learned. We'll dress him up warmly and we'll send him to school.
In 1977, Andrew Gold released a song that would become both his biggest triumph and his defining legacy, Lonely Boy. With its piano-driven melody, heartfelt lyrics, and unforgettable hook, this track climbed to number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100, making it the only major hit of Gold's solo career in the United States. Even if his name isn't instantly recognizable to younger listeners, the moment this song plays, the nostalgia hits hard. Lonely Boy tells the story of a boy who feels neglected and overlooked after the birth of his younger sister, a tale that resonated with millions of listeners. The verses are autobiographical, mirroring Gold's own experience growing up in a musical family in Los Angeles. But the emotional punch of the song comes from how universally relatable it is. Many listeners saw themselves in the character's mix of love, jealousy, and quiet pain. Musically, Lonely Boy is a perfect example of 70s soft rock at its finest. The song opens with a rolling piano riff that instantly pulls you in. As it builds, Gold's clear, expressive vocals take center stage, surrounded by warm harmonies and polished production. It's catchy, but layered, balancing radio friendliness with genuine artistry. This wasn't just a throwaway pop song, it was crafted with care. Andrew Gold was no amateur. Before Lonely Boy, he had already made a name for himself as a session musician and arranger, working with artists like Linda Ronstadt. He played nearly every instrument on his own records, showcasing the kind of multi-instrumental talent that few pop stars could match. His musical fingerprints were all over the California rock sound of the era. Despite the success of Lonely Boy, Gold never managed to repeat its chart impact. He released more albums and continued working in the industry, even writing the theme song for the television show The Golden Girls, titled "Thank You for Being a Friend." That song found its own cultural immortality. But as far as the charts were concerned, Lonely Boy remained his one true hit. Today, Lonely Boy stands as one of the great soft rock anthems of the 70s. It's been featured in films, television shows, and nostalgic playlists for decades. Andrew Gold may not have had a string of hits like some of his contemporaries, but with this song, he carved out a permanent place in music history. Number 6. Meri McGregor, Torn Between Two Lovers.
Before I say another word, let me tell you, I love you.
When Meri McGregor released Torn Between Two Lovers in 1977, she probably didn't expect to spark one of the decade's most talked about ballads. This soft, emotional track shot straight to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became an international smash, reaching the top of the charts in several countries. But despite the massive success of this single, McGregor never managed to replicate its impact, making it a quintessential one-hit wonder. Torn Between Two Lovers tells a story that was both scandalous and deeply human. The lyrics describe a woman confessing to her partner that she loves another man, and that she cannot choose between them. In the 70s, this was a bold topic for a mainstream pop hit. Instead of portraying love in idealized terms, the song embraced emotional complexity, which is part of what made it so memorable. The song's strength lies in its simplicity. The arrangement is gentle, built around soft acoustic guitars, strings, and McGregor's delicate, sincere vocals. There are no flashy production tricks here. The emotional weight comes entirely from the melody and the words. Her performance feels intimate, almost like a confession whispered in the listener's ear. Meri McGregor herself was an unlikely star. She had spent years singing backup for folk artist Peter Yarrow, one-third of the group Peter, Paul, and Meri. It was Yarrow who discovered her potential as a solo artist and co-wrote Torn Between Two Lovers. When the song was released, it quickly resonated with audiences who were looking for something more honest and mature than the typical love song. The single dominated the airwaves in late 1976 and early 1977, eventually selling millions of copies, but McGregor struggled to follow it up. Her later releases failed to capture the same magic, and by the early 80s, she had largely stepped away from the spotlight. Torn Between Two Lovers remained her defining musical moment. Decades later, the song is still remembered as one of the most iconic soft pop ballads of the 70s. It has been covered by numerous artists and featured in television and film. Meri McGregor may have had a brief moment at the top, but with this one song, she created a lasting legacy that continues to echo through pop culture. Number 5. Peter McCann, Do You Want to Make Love?
Do you wanna make love? Or do you just wanna fool around?
In 1977, singer-songwriter Peter McCann broke through with a single that was equal parts smooth, romantic, and irresistibly catchy. Do You Want to Make Love climbed all the way to number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, turning McCann into a brief pop sensation. With its gentle groove and memorable chorus, the song captured the sound of adult contemporary radio at its peak. Do You Want to Make Love isn't just a flirtatious love song. It's a conversation set to music. The lyrics tell the story of a couple who are struggling with temptation, honesty, and emotional vulnerability. Instead of relying on flashy hooks or gimmicks, McCann crafted a song that felt personal and real, which helped it stand out in a crowded musical landscape. Musically, The song sits right in that sweet spot between soft rock and easy listening. The instrumentation is polished but warm, with a steady drum beat, smooth guitar lines, and McCann's clean vocals gliding over the top. It's the kind of track that feels timeless, like something you might hear on a late-night radio station or at a 70s dinner party. Peter McCann's path to success was a little different from many of his peers. Before recording his own hit, he had spent years writing songs for other artists. His talent for crafting emotional, radio-friendly melodies made him a respected figure behind the scenes. Do You Wanna Make Love was his chance to step into the spotlight himself, and for a brief moment, he shined. The single's success was impressive, but McCann wasn't able to maintain the momentum. His follow-up releases didn't connect with audiences in the same way, and he soon returned to focusing on songwriting rather than performing. Still, this one track was enough to secure him a place in 70s music history. Today, Do You Wanna Make Love is remembered as one of those quintessential late 70s soft rock hits, the kind of song that instantly transports you back to the era. Peter McCann may not be a household name now, but for a short time, he had one of the most recognizable songs on the radio. Number 4. Emotions, Best of My Love. In 1977, a Chicago vocal trio known as The Emotions released a song that would dominate the airwaves and dance floors across America, Best of My Love. This upbeat, feel-good anthem soared to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, staying there for 5 weeks and becoming one of the defining songs of the disco era. It earned the group a Grammy Award for Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group and remains their signature hit to this day. Best of My Love is pure joy in musical form. From the very first notes, the track bursts with energy-tight harmonies, a funky bass line, bright horns, and a rhythm section that makes it nearly impossible not to move. The Emotions vocals blend power and precision, delivering a message of love and positivity with every line. It's the kind of song that instantly lifts your mood, no matter when you hear it. Behind the scenes, the track was produced by the legendary Maurice White, the founder of Earth, Wind & Fire. His influence can be heard in every groove and flourish. By combining the Emotions' soulful vocals with his band's signature funk and disco elements, White helped craft a sound that was both commercially irresistible and musically sophisticated. The result was a crossover hit that appealed to pop, R&B, and disco audiences alike. The Emotions had been around for years before this breakout. Originally performing gospel music as children, they transitioned into secular soul in the late 1960s and built a loyal following. But it wasn't until teaming up with Maurice White that they found massive mainstream success. Best of My Love wasn't just another disco track. It was their moment to shine on a global stage. The song's success was staggering. It topped charts not only in the United States, but also internationally, and it went on to sell millions of copies. While the Emotions continued to record music afterward, none of their later releases matched the cultural impact of this single. It was a perfect storm of talent, timing, and sound. Decades later, Best of My Love remains a staple of 70s playlists, movie soundtracks, and wedding receptions. Its infectious groove and heartfelt vocals have helped it stand the test of time. The Emotions may have had other songs, but this was the one that defined their legacy forever. Number 3. Floaters, Float On.
Float on. Come on, come on, come on. Float on, float on.
In 1977, a smooth-talking R&B group called The Floaters released one of the most unique slow jams of the decade, Float On. Almost hypnotic track, floated all the way to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 on the R&B charts. It became a crossover sensation that perfectly captured the era's love for romantic, soulful ballads with a twist. Float On stands out for its distinctive spoken word verses. Each member of the Floaters introduces himself by name, zodiac sign, and romantic preferences before smoothly sliding into the chorus. Lines like, "My name is Larry, my sign is Cancer, and I like a woman who loves everything and everybody," have become iconic, often imitated and parodied for their charm and cheesiness. It's a song that doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's part of what makes it so memorable. Musically, the track is a silky blend of soul and quiet storm, built around lush strings, a steady groove, and smooth harmonies. The chorus "Float on," is instantly recognizable. The kind of hook that lingers in your head long after the song ends. It's romantic, slightly playful, and utterly of its time. The Floaters came out of Detroit, and like many soul groups of the era, they were influenced by Motown's legacy. But Float On was their attempt to carve out their own identity, leaning into a laid-back vibe that set them apart from the high-energy disco hits dominating the charts. It worked. The song resonated with both R&B audiences and mainstream pop listeners. Despite the massive success of Float On, the Floaters were never able to replicate it. Follow-up singles failed to chart as high, and internal changes in the group eventually led to their fade from the spotlight. Still, for one glorious moment, their smooth style was everywhere. Today, Float On is remembered as a quintessential slow jam of the 70s, a perfect time capsule of romantic music from that era. Whether you find it sincere or delightfully cheesy, there's no denying its cultural impact. The Floaters may have floated away from the charts, but their one hit remains unforgettable. Number 2, High Energy, You Can't Turn Me Off.
You can't turn me off. Not
In the middle of turning me on, in 1977, the Motown label introduced a fresh new girl group called High Energy, and their debut single, You Can't Turn Me Off, in the middle of turning me on, became an instant hit. The song climbed all the way to number 2 on the Billboard R&B chart and broke into the top 20 on the Hot 100, making it the group's biggest and most memorable success. From the moment the opening groove kicks in, the track oozes 70s soul. It blends silky harmonies with a funky rhythm section and sharp horn accents, creating a sound that feels both classic and fresh. The lead vocals glide effortlessly over the music, striking that perfect balance between smooth and powerful. It's one of those songs that makes you want to move without even realizing it. Lyrically, the track is a confident and flirtatious declaration of romantic desire. The narrator warns her lover not to back away now that the sparks are flying, making the title line both playful and bold. It's a theme that resonated with audiences at the height of the disco and soul era, when songs about love and empowerment dominated the charts. High Energy was often compared to the Supremes, both because of their Motown roots and their polished, glamorous image. The group consisted of 4 young women from Pasadena, California, who brought a vibrant energy to their performances. You Can't Turn Me Off was their introduction to the world, and it made a powerful first impression. Despite the strong debut, High Energy struggled to maintain that level of success. They released more singles and albums over the following years, but none matched the impact of their first hit. Like many one-hit wonder acts of the 70s, they had a bright but brief moment in the spotlight. Today, You Can't Turn Me Off, in the middle of turning me on, remains a beloved track among soul and R&B fans. It captures the essence of late 70s Motown slick production, tight harmonies, and irresistible grooves. High Energy may not have dominated the charts for long, but this song ensures their place in musical history. Number 1, Meri Wilson, Telephone Man.
Hey baby, I'm your telephone man. Can you believe that? And then he says, no.
In 1977, Meri Wilson stormed onto the charts with one of the strangest, cheekiest, and most unforgettable novelty hits of the decade, Telephone Man. This playful, flirtatious track climbed to number 18 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became an international hit, instantly making Wilson a household name, at least for a little while. Telephone Man tells the story of a young woman getting her phone line installed by a charming technician, delivered with exaggerated innocence and a wink to the audience. Wilson speaks and sings in a breathy, suggestive tone that both satirized and embraced 70s sexual humor. At a time when disco and soft rock dominated, this quirky little song stood out like a neon sign. Musically, the track is deceptively simple. It's built around a light, bouncy groove, with funky guitar lines, hand claps, and Wilson's distinctive vocals front and center. It's catchy in the way only novelty songs can be once you hear it. It's stuck in your head for days. The combination of playful lyrics and a hook you can't shake made it an instant radio favorite. Meri Wilson's sudden rise to fame was almost as unusual as her hit song. Before Telephone Man, she had been performing in lounges and working as a model. She wrote the song herself, inspired by real experiences, and recorded it as a tongue-in-cheek commentary on flirtation and modern technology. What started as a bit of fun quickly snowballed into a global phenomenon. The song's cheeky humor was controversial in some circles. A few radio stations initially hesitated to play it because of its suggestive tone, but the public loved it. Its mix of humor, flirtation, and undeniable catchiness helped it sell more than 1 million copies. Wilson tried to follow it up with other novelty songs, but none ever matched the lightning-in-a-bottle success of Telephone Man. Today, Telephone Man is remembered as one of the most iconic novelty hits of the 70s, a track that perfectly reflects the playful, experimental spirit of the era. Meri Wilson may have had only one major hit, but she made sure it was one that no one would forget. As the curtain closed on 1977, these one-hit wonders stood as snapshots of a wildly diverse musical landscape. From silky soul grooves and soft rock confessionals to disco floor fillers and tongue-in-cheek novelty hits, each of these songs captured a unique moment in time. Some were massive chart toppers, others were cult favorites, but all of them left their mark before their artists faded from the mainstream spotlight. The late 70s were a turning point. Disco was peaking, rock was evolving, and pop music was expanding in unexpected directions. These one-hit wonders didn't just fill the charts, they told stories about what people were dancing to, crying over, and laughing about. They remind us that sometimes it only takes one song to make history. Even though most of these artists never scored another massive hit, their music lives on through radio, playlists, movies, and memories. Whether it was the playful flirtation of Telephone Man, the irresistible funk of Best of My Love, or the raw energy of Black Betty, each track still has the power to transport us straight back to 1977. And maybe that's the beauty of a one-hit wonder. It doesn't need a long career or a dozen albums, just the right song at the right moment. These artists grabbed that moment and left us with music that still echoes decades later. So the next time one of these songs comes on, turn it up, sing along, and remember the year when these unexpected hits took over the world. 1977, a time when anything could climb the charts if it struck the right chord.